In this video, we'll talk about the IUPAC nomenclature of your haloalkanes and haloarenes. When it comes to your IUPAC nomenclature of these compounds, IUPAC nomenclature is a well discussed chapter and is being discussed about like a billion times in your previous classes, and I'm sure you guys must have able to by now. You guys must have been able to give your IUPAC name to your organic compounds. Haloalkane is your another organic compound, and also the naming of this compound is simple. So I'll give you an example of this compound. Let's say I have a compound. Let's say I have a compound with 4 carbon atoms. This is CH3, CH2, CH2, and your CH2, as well as your chlorine atom, which is attached to your terminal position. So how do you go about naming this compound? When it comes to naming this compound, it is a simple process. You count the number of carbon atoms. So there are 4 number of carbon atoms in this case, 1 2 3 4. So we will write the name as bute, and you have a single bond present with these carbon atoms. So this is your butane, and your chlorine atom, it is attached to your first carbon atom according to the lowest locant rule. We'll use the first one, so first carbon atom. And when it comes to IUPAC naming, your halogen atom is to be written as halo. So if it is your chlorine atom, it will be written as chloro. This is an important thing, or this is a tip which you can keep in mind, that your halogen atom will be converted into halo when it comes to naming your giving it your IUPAC nomenclature name. So if it is chlorine, it will be chloro. If it is bromine, it will be bromo. If it is iodine, it will be iodo. So here it will be 1 chloro, 1 chloro butane. This is your IUPAC name of this compound, and I'm sure you would have already got it before I even started the naming myself. This is an easy concept, but just to get you give you a insight on this thing, IUPAC nomenclature, I would also like you to know about the common naming. What if you give this compound a common name? How will you give this compound a common name? The answer is simple. You don't have to worry about giving it a common name. It is not a complex process. In fact, it is also as easy as your IUPAC naming. How do we give it a common name? So first, in your first step, you always see the chlorine atom or your halogen atom and where it is attached. In this case, or in this structure, your chlorine atom is attached to your terminal position. This is your end position, terminal position. This is your terminal position, and so we will use the prefix as normal, N. N is your representation of the word normal, and this will be used as your prefix when it comes to giving your structure a common name only if your chlorine atom is attached to the terminal position, not if it is attached to this position or if it is attached to this position. Only if it is attached to the terminal position or the terminal carbon atom, then only we will give it the prefix as normal. Moving on, what is our second step? So we count the number of carbon atoms. So there are 4 carbon atoms, so it is your butane. And if you notice something here, from here 1 hydrogen atom is missing. Not missing, well, it has been replaced by your chlorine atom. So if an alkane loses its hydrogen atom, what happens? It turns into an alkyl group. I've already taught you this before. If an alkane loses its hydrogen atom, it turns into an alkyl group. If an arene loses its hydrogen atom, it turns into an aryl group. So in this case, you have your butane, and it lost 1 hydrogen atom, so obviously it will turn into your butyl group. So after this, you will write the your particular alkyl to which your chlorine atom is attached, and in this case it is your butyl. And in your last step, remember this is the most important step, and students tend to make the mistake here. Your chlorine atom, how will you write the name of this chlorine atom? Will you write it as chloro, or will you write it as chlorine? How do you go about writing your name of the halogen atom? Okay, so this remember this thing, halogen atom will be said or will be written as halide only when it comes to common naming. We are talking about common naming here, not IUPAC nomenclature. Do not confuse common naming with your IUPAC nomenclature. Some people do that. Some students tend to confuse common naming with IUPAC nomenclature, and they get a big 0 in their question. So never confuse IUPAC nomenclature with common naming, and it is fairly simple. In IUPAC nomenclature you use the lowest locant rule, you specify the positions of your chlorine atom and stuff like that. But in common naming you're just going to write the position as your normal, and you're going to write your alkyl group, that is butyl, and your halogen atom, in this case it is chlorine, will be converted into chloride. So if it was your chlorine, which is the case here, it will be considered as chloride. If it was bromine, it would be said as bromide, or if it was iodine, it will be considered as iodide. That is as simple as that. So here you have got your chlorine, so we'll write it as chloride. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is your common name of this particular compound. Alright, this was simple. This was a simple topic, and this is as simple as to a fact that questions are never asked from this particular topic. You will never get a question in your board exam from IUPAC nomenclature, and for the past 20 years nobody has asked the question from this topic. But it is good to know, or it is good to revise this haloalkanes or the IUPAC nomenclature of these compounds. Okay, moving on. If you have vinyl halides, or if you have allyl halides or aryl halides, the concept here is also same. If you have your vinyl halide, let's say you have your vinyl halide, this is your vinyl halide. Okay, this is your bond line structure. Do not get confused with bond line structures. Most people are unable to work with bond line structures, so I'll also give you a chain structure or a simple structure of this as a CH2 CH and chlorine. This is your same structure as your bond line structure. Okay, how do you give this compound the IUPAC name? We won't talk about the common naming of this compound, we will only talk about the IUPAC name. So if you talk about the IUPAC name of this compound, it is also simple. You can see that there is double bond and there are 2 carbon atoms. So this is your ethene, and the chlorine atom is attached to your first carbon atom according to the lowest locant rule. This is your lower number, or 1 is smaller than 2, so we'll use 1. So we will write the position as 1 chloroethene. 1 chloroethene is your answer for this or this compound. For this compound or for this compound, this is your IUPAC name. Again, it is a simple concept. You have already studied this in your previous classes. Moving on, another, you have allyl halides. When it comes to allyl halides, this is also simple. Allyl halides, for example, CH2 CH and CH and chlorine is attached here, as well as I'm going to write a CH3 here. The common name of this is 3-chlorobute 3-bute. Let's say this is your butene. This is your common name of this compound. And similarly for aryl halides, your common naming will be your benzene. And for example, chlorine atom is attached here, so it will be your chlorobenzene. That was about your IUPAC nomenclature, and I will see you in the next class.